crap. So I beat Valheim, and honestly, I'm really, really sad about it because I want more and I want it right now. But we're not going to get content for a while because making a game is very difficult. I mean, just doing all the art assets and all the programming and everything, it takes time. And the guys over at Iron Gate Studio, they're probably working their butts off to get something new out to us because, man, this is one of the best games I've played in a very, very long time. If you haven't played Valheim yet, I highly suggest that you go and buy this game. There's going to be a learning curve. There's a learning curve to every single game that comes out there, but this will be one of the most satisfying adventures you'll ever go on. I put in 200 plus hours into this game in the course of a month. And to give you a little comparison, I play a lot of Rocket League with my friends, and I've played well over 800 hours into that game over the course of a couple of years. So basically, I put a fourth of the time that I put into Rocket League into Valheim in a month. That's insane. But now that the game is essentially beaten, what do I do now? And there's a lot of things I've been thinking about what I can do to prepare for maybe the next patch that's coming out. And I really thought about it, and there's not really much you can do except possibly explore the world that you're in or something like that. But then it dawned on me that there is going to be content added to this game in other places. So why wouldn't it be possible to set up camps and everything in those new areas? Now, I don't want to ruin anything for anybody because the way that I played this game is I didn't read into any tutorials. I didn't go online and look for tips and tricks and stuff like that. I wanted everything to be a brand new experience for me. And I know a lot of people are doing that as well. They're just like, I don't want to know anything about this. I want to learn it on my own. And honestly, that's the best way to play this game. So if you're playing the game the same way that I played it, then you might not want to listen to what's coming up. Because I'm going to talk about things that can help you in the game and also what you can do after you beat the final boss. So be warned, spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. I figure since the game is beaten and that we have other biomes such as the Mistlands, and also if you haven't traveled south, there's the Ashlands, and if you haven't traveled north, there's Deep North. 3 completely different biomes that we haven't even touched yet. And they will be populated in the future, but why can't we set up bases in those different areas before they even get populated? So it sounds like it could be a little boring just going collecting all the materials and whatnot and then going out there and getting those bases set up, but it might be worth it in the long run. So that's one thing you can do after you beat the final boss. It's not really exciting, but you know, it's something if you really, really have that craving to play Valheim after you've beaten the game. One tip that I do want to share with you guys is something that I thought was really crucial and changed the way that I built my base. And this is something I really wanted to do with my base. I wanted to be able to stack a fireplace over another fireplace. And you'd think with the smoke problem, you wouldn't be able to do it. Well, you can. And the trick to doing that is use roofs in order to catch the smoke. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would roofs be able to catch smoke? That doesn't seem right. The smoke has to exit out of a chimney of some sort. And I started doing that. I started making like an exit point and then the smoke would go out and it looks really cool. But if you want to get around that and have a stackable chimney per se, then what you do is this. All right, before we get into this, I do want to give a shout out to Reddit user Bokanon for showing this. After I beat the game, I did kind of see what people were doing and making. So what you do essentially is you lay down 2 floor panels, followed up by 8 stone pillars, 4 of them stacked with 4 on top. Once you get all those stone pillars in place, then you want to go ahead and slap down 4 wood iron beams on each corner, stacked with 4 additional wood iron beams. Yes, they're expensive, but they're going to play an important part. Then you're going to want to put these beams on top here. We're going to get rid of them later, but they're just placeholders so you can place the diagonal roof on top. Once you have the diagonal roof in place, you want to get rid of those beams because we want to use as little materials as possible. Once those beams are gone, then we're going to go ahead and use the 26-degree wood cross roof. And what this is going to do is going to prevent the smoke from escaping out of the sides. Now here, I had a little bit of trouble getting it all set up and everything. But once those cross beams are in place, then we can move on to the next one. Come on, you can do it. Okay, there we go. And then once you get those in place, you want to put 4 walls, 2 on each side, and that's going to give you that chimney effect. Once those walls are in place, then we're good to go ahead and lay down our hearth. And once the hearth is in the place where it's supposed to be, go ahead and light it up, and you'll see that the smoke is not exiting on the sides. It's being contained within the place it's supposed to be contained. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the other side, you can see that it's all perfectly where it's supposed to be. This is a good example of what it looked like if it were stacked, and you can do this. For some odd reason, that works. I mean, it doesn't make sense per se, but it does work. And if you're going for a more realistic base, then you may not want to do this because the smoke has to exit out somewhere. I get that. That's fine. But if you're looking for a certain aesthetic, then this is probably the way to go. Anyways, there's not really much I can talk about Valheim, which I thought there was going to be a ton I could talk about, but there's just not enough content out there to be able to, you know, push out. But I will say this, something's been on my mind, and I don't know why this has kind of caught my attention, but this is what I'm thinking about doing right now.